Jailyn's cries echoed through the quiet streets of Cleveland in the dead of the night. The toddler whimpered and howled, but no one came to her rescue. Her mother, Kristel Candelario, was away on a 10-day summer vacation and had left Jailyn alone in a playpen with a few bottles of milk, prosecutors said. A neighbor's doorbell camera captured the 16-month-old's frequent screams, including one around 2 days after her mother left. Candelario, a former substitute teacher who lived on West 97th Street, left her daughter on June 6 and drove to Detroit, where she stayed with the man for a few days. She then took a Spirit Airlines flight to Puerto Rico on June 8, returned on June 11, and stayed in Michigan with the second man until she returned home on June 16. Cleveland police detectives reviewed more than 600 videos captured by a Ring doorbell camera at Candelario's neighbors that showed Candelario loading a suitcase into her car and driving off on June 6. Another video captured the sounds of Jailyn screaming just after June 9, nearly 3 days after she had been left alone. Candelario's car was seen on video returning to her home on 7:36 am June 16. 11 minutes later, she placed a frantic 911 call in which she screamed for help. "My daughter's dying," Candelario sobbed into the phone. Before paramedics showed up, Candelario put Jailyn's body in fresh clothes. Baby Jailyn was pronounced dead after authorities arrived at the scene. She weighed 13 pounds. At a doctor's appointment 2 months earlier, she weighed 20 pounds, said Anna Faraglia, an assistant county prosecutor.
She was refusing to the food and she was with no appetite. I said, oh my God.
This is after last Monday and Tuesday when she was throwing up?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you talking about Monday and Tuesday like 4 days ago?
Yeah,
Okay.
last week, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because we almost done this week, so I talk about,
Because what, this week?
This week. Yeah, I talk about because we almost done,
Oh, we're almost done with this week.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so that was just Monday and Tuesday of this week. She was throwing up.
Yes.
And then how was she Wednesday and Thursday?
She was with no food, just with a meal because she was refusing. Maybe it's because she get vomiting 2 days, before.
Yeah.
So that's why I was scary because I say, oh my God, I need to go to the hospital because she doesn't eat anything and she was lose tiny, her weight. I lose, her weight. But right now, this morning when I wake up, she was asleep. She sleep every day 12 hours.
Okay.
She sleep like at 9, 8 p.m. through 9 or 10 a.m.
Okay.
12 hours. So, in this morning I was sleeping too. I never wake up. She was
What happened? What was going on last night?
Last night she was crying a lot. And I see one moment when I was take a shower, and she was screaming like, I don't know, probably she getting pain.
Okay.
Maybe.
About what time was that last night?
Maybe at 7 or 8 p.m.
Okay.
So she was screaming like, probably for pain or something like that. In this morning when I wake up, I took her in the morning for, Jailyn, wake up, and she wake up, and when I see her, I see she looks like a really, really dry, like ¿cómo se dice cuando una persona se chupa? O sea, kind of like, yes.
Oh, with her face with something
me asusté.
Elizabeth Mooney, the forensic pathologist who worked the case, said that Jailyn had feces caked on her hands, under her fingernails, on the bottoms of her feet and on her teeth, a sign that she had tried to eat her own feces to survive. She showed symptoms of severe dehydration, which caused her kidneys to fail. The pain and suffering she endured lasted not only hours, not days, but possibly even a week, Mooney said, fighting back tears. This feeling of abandonment for days on end, coupled with the pain of starvation and extreme thirst, is a type of suffering I don't think any of us could ever fully fathom. Mooney said that, based on the decomposition and state of Jailyn's body, she had likely died 2 or 3 days before her body was discovered, meaning she survived inside her playpen, alone, for nearly a week. This was a type of suffering that not any of us could fully fathom, Mooney said. CTT, Teresa Gomez teared up as she recalled helping T.J. Powell, the lead homicide detective, unravel Candelario's cover story. Jailyn died a long and agonizing death, afraid and alone, while her mother enjoyed the beach and sunshine, Gomez said. Candelario's defense attorney, Derek Smith, made no excuse for the mother's actions. They were narcissistic, selfish, abhorrent, and absolutely the worst parenting imaginable, he said. I gave my testimony. I took the blame for my actions. I was experiencing emotional stress, she said, adding she had been experiencing relationship issues with the girl's father. However, Candelario insisted that my daughters have always been everything, my whole world to me, and assured that Jailyn is always in my heart and is with me wherever I go. Asked about the reasons for her trip to Detroit and Puerto Rico that resulted in her leaving her daughter alone, Candelario said, it was a decision that was actually made many months before, when she was leaving a 2-month hospitalization for mental health issues. I was in the hospital in January and February 2023 because I had emotional and mental problems. One of those 2 occasions, I wanted to make an attempt on my own life. For that reason, I was in the hospital without being able to walk for exactly almost 2 weeks. And in the month of March, my now ex-boyfriend and I wanted to take a vacation. During the interview, Candelario attempted to free her ex-partner of any blame, saying she had told him she was going to leave the girl with her mother for the trip. She also denied that she had purchased the tickets to travel, having made the decision to leave her daughter tinted, but rather that the event occurred as a result of her mental state. Actually, I left for the trip as a result of an impulse that I took, grabbed my 4 things and ran out of the house like when someone is being chased, she said. It's not that at that moment I thought that I was going to Puerto Rico. I was going to be super comfortable. No, I never thought that. I simply wanted to get away from a life of stress, depression, and anxiety, Candelario said. I didn't want to continue living because I had had a lot of problems in my life. During the trip, Candelario said, she thought about her daughter and the fact that she was alone. The people who accompanied me on the trip could see that I was very distracted. I was very angry. They told me, Kristel, what's happening? You're not yourself. I never mentioned anything about my daughter. Candelario said her boyfriend asked her about Jailyn one day during the trip. When he mentioned the girl to me, it was like when someone reminds you of someone who's not with you at that moment. But she said that she simply responded that her daughter was fine. She confessed that for a few seconds she thought about calling a family member or neighbor to check on her daughter's well-being. But I didn't do it. No, I never did it. And it was my mistake. Candelario said her parents never knew that she had gone on a trip and had abandoned the little girl to her fate. They never knew that I had gone to Puerto Rico, she said. They thought that I was at home or that I was with Jailyn, maybe somewhere else, in another city. Candelario's parents had been traveling with her other daughter, who was 7 years old at the time. The only thing I told them was, go at ease. I'm going to stay here with Jailyn. She told them she wasn't up to doing anything during the vacation time. That was all I told them, she said. Upon her return, Candelario found her daughter unresponsive and called the police. Then, she said, that's when my world fell apart. Not because maybe I was thinking about going to prison. That's the least important thing, because one is an adult and one can accept one's mistakes. I was in despair. I felt she could be saved. Things didn't have to happen that way because my daughter was doing well. I always took care of her. Candelario's attorney, Derek Smith, told the court that no one was trying to excuse Candelario's behavior, but that she had tried to harm herself in 2023 and was placed on antidepressants, which she stopped taking without tapering down dosage as required, which can cause side effects. He said, Candelario was not thinking clearly. Authorities declared Jailyn dead after finding her in a playpen surrounded by feces and urine, wrapped in dirty blankets and extremely dehydrated, according to the sheriff's office. The child had lost a third of her weight during her mother's absence. When sentencing her, Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Judge Brendan Sheehan summarized the tragedy, and Candelario's behavior as a mother with one sentence, telling her she committed the ultimate act of betrayal by leaving her baby terrified and alone. Smith said that Candelario was treated for depression in February 2023 after she showed up to Hillcrest Hospital completely numb on one side of her body. Doctors initially believed she may have had a stroke, but they determined it to be a side effect triggered by anxiety and stress, Smith said. They prescribed her multiple medications, but Candelario stopped taking them when she ran out in the weeks before her trip. Candelario also tried to die by suicide around that time. Faraglia, the prosecutor, said that Candelario had the wherewithal to change Jailyn's clothes and concoct a cover story to police after she discovered her daughter's lifeless body when she returned from her trip. She also cited recordings of phone calls Candelario made from jail in November and January in which she recalled how much fun her trip to Puerto Rico was. She abandoned her daughter and left her for dead, Faraglia said. The thought of this child dying every day while she's having fun. Humanity can't stomach that. Animals take care of their infants better. Candelario told the court she prays daily for forgiveness, adding that she believes God and Jailyn have forgiven her. I am not trying to justify my actions, but nobody knew how much I was suffering and what I was going through, she said. Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court Judge Brendan Sheehan admonished her as he handed down the sentence. Speaking sternly, he said, Candelario left her child trapped in a tiny prison for days while she was out having a good time. The bond between a mother and a child is one of the most purest and most sacred bonds. It's a relationship built on love, trust, and unwavering protection. You committed the ultimate act of betrayal, Sheehan said. That little baby persevered, waiting for someone to save her. And you could have done that with a simple phone call. Instead, I see photos of you on a beach while your child was eating her own feces in an attempt to survive. The judge sentenced her to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Just as you didn't let Jailyn out of her confinement until she died, so too, you should spend the rest of your life in a cell without freedom, Sheehan said. The only difference is that prison will at least feed you. At the sentencing, lead detective T.J. Powell said Jailyn will never be forgotten. His voice quivered as he read a poem he wrote in her memory. For Jailyn poem, J is for the justice that will be received today. Is for the angel wings she earned on that dreadful day. I is for the incremental repetition buildup of suspense for a death that clearly makes no sense. L is for the lack of love while alone for 11 days. Y is for a young life that was taken away. N is for new eternal life Jailyn gained on that day. No child should ever have to die this way. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. God bless.